Hey Management 3401, welcome to your Tuesday class. Happy Tuesday. So today we are covering all of chapter 6 in preparation for our quiz on Thursday, which will cover chapters 4 through 6. And today's chapter is all about the role of planning in strategy. And so we know that our strategy is the path we are going to take towards achieving our goals. And so obviously developing plans is a key component of our strategy. So I have my notes here from the PowerPoint, and I just wanted to go through them quickly before you go and do the PowerPoint yourself. So planning is a 3-step process. The first part of the process is to determine the firm's mission. And then the second part of the process is to develop the plan. And then the third part is implementation. And just going back to the mission part, we ask ourselves specific questions in order to determine what the appropriate mission is for our company. In order to develop a mission statement, companies ask themselves just a couple of simple questions. Who are our customers? What needs does our company plan to meet of those customers? And how do we plan to meet those needs? And basically from the answers to those questions, companies develop their mission statement. So according to your book, good plans have 4 characteristics. The first one is unity. So that just means that there's one plan. There aren't multiple plans floating around or multiple versions of one plan floating around. Everyone in the company is referencing this one plan. The second characteristic that good plans have is continuity. So that just means year over year, we still know where we stand in terms of our plan timeline. So it's not just something that sort of abruptly ends at a certain point. We know what the next step is because our plan is probably constantly being amended year over year. Plans are also accurate. So that just means that they're supported by data. It's not simply based on intuition or dreams. We have set our timelines and set our goals based on what's realistic, and we know what's realistic because we've collected data, we've done research, and so we know that what we're aiming towards is something that we could feasibly attain. And then the fourth characteristic that good plans have is flexibility. So I know I can relate to this. You probably can relate to the idea of establishing a plan for something and then things not working out on the timeline that you thought they would, and so then you sort of have to go back and edit your plan, edit your expectations for the time frame. And so this happens for companies too. So just making sure that you have a plan that's flexible, that doesn't just necessarily completely fall apart if something unexpected pops up and your timeline isn't realistic anymore. You want a plan that you've kind of built in some cushion such that if you need to change things or edit things, you can. So planning occurs at 3 levels in large corporations, and that is at the corporate level, the business level, and the functional level. So at the corporate level, the plan is concerned with the mission of the company, which markets and industries we plan to operate in as a company, because a company can operate across multiple industries. Think about conglomerates like Disney. They operate in multiple businesses. And then also the structure. So how do we need to arrange people and resources and technology in our company in order to better achieve our goals? And then the plan at the business level is concerned with how do we position our businesses. So if we are operating in multiple industries or even in one industry, we could have several businesses in each industry. And so the question becomes, how are we positioning this business such that we can position it based on these generic strategies, which include differentiation, cost leadership, or focused differentiation and focused cost leadership. And so it's basically answering the question, who do we plan to serve and how do we plan to serve them? So with a differentiation strategy, we are planning to offer something that's unique or of a higher quality and then charge a premium, but we also want to make this product or service available to the wider market. And overall cost leadership is also wanting to aim to serve a larger market, but we're specifically aiming to serve people who are looking for low prices. We are competing with our competitors on price. So we want to draw people in based on our discounts and our sales and competitive prices. Differentiation strategy is not competing on price at all. And then focused differentiation means that we want to serve a segment. We're not trying to serve the general market. This is for a certain group of people. So for instance, a luxury accessory line or high-end clothing line would be focused differentiation, because if this high-end clothing line sells $1,000 shoes, we're clearly not aiming for the whole market to purchase from us. We're trying to provide a unique quality product to this subsegment of people who are willing and able to spend $1,000 on a pair of shoes. And then you have focused cost leadership, to where we're also serving a subsegment. Not everybody is gonna wanna buy our product or service, but we're still just trying to keep prices low. So that's maybe an Ethiopian restaurant, right? So not everybody likes spicy Ethiopian food. It's not everybody's jam, but these restaurants are typically fairly priced and very affordable. And so it's sort of like we want to serve this group of people who has a taste for our type of food, and we are competing with other restaurants on price. So those are examples of business level strategies. And then planning at the functional level is really just giving instructions to managers in each department. So like accounting, marketing, finance. And so it's just sort of like giving them clarity on what actions their departments need to take in order to make sure everybody is working in alignment towards the larger corporate level goals. So we know that step one is just determining our mission and why we're even operating as a firm. But then in step two, to formulate the strategy, we first want to do analysis on the external environment to see how our internal purpose and mission interacts with what's happening outside of us. And so in order to analyze the environment outside of the firm, we typically employ certain strategic analyses. And so two examples of these analyses is SWOT analysis, which you've probably heard of. So that's analyzing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So strengths and weaknesses are actually concerned with what's happening inside of the firm. What are the firm's strengths and weaknesses, what are things that we do really well, and what are some things that we need to improve upon. And then opportunities and threats are things external to the firm. So what are trends in the environment that could serve as an opportunity for us to jump on and maybe make some more money with? But then what are some trends that could be threats that might negatively impact our cash flow? And then another analysis is Porter's 5 forces. And so we are looking at the entities in our task environment. And we've had a conversation about the task environment and how those entities can impact our ability to make money, essentially. So how can these entities and the behaviors of the entities in our task environment impact our profitability? And so specifically in Porter's 5 forces, we're looking at the power of buyers, the power of suppliers, the intensity of rivalry, the power of substitutes, and the power of new entrants into the industry. So for your next steps, of course, I want you to apply some of this to yourselves. And so I want you to think about what your plan is. If you had to do planning for yourself, which is really where we should all start before we ever get into a position of planning for an organization. Because how do you even know what organization to work for if you don't know where you want to go in life? So to apply these same principles to your life, I want you to ask yourself, what's your personal mission? What's your strategy for realizing your goals? And what's the first thing you'll do in order to implement this strategy? And we're going to share this on Moodle. All right, so that is it for this week, or this just on Tuesday, not the whole week. And get ready for your quiz on Thursday.